In this lesson, we're going to talk about ratios and proportions. A ratio is a comparison of two quantities that uses division. It can be written several different ways, like with words A to B, or using a colon B, or as a fraction, as A over B. Okay, and most of the time when we're writing ratios and proportions, we generally write it like this, okay, when we're doing it. Okay, a proportion is an equation that states that two ratios are equal, okay? So in words, in a proportion, the product of the extremes equal the product of the means, okay? So it just says that if A if A to B is equal to C to D, when B is equal to 0 and D is equal to 0, then A times D is equal to B times C. Okay, we generally refer to this as just cross multiplication. So um, so in this case, 4 to 15, and is it 4 times 15 is 60, and 10 times 6 is 60. So 60 is equal to 60. That means that's a proportion. Okay, and those two ratios are equivalent ratios are equal to each other. Okay, in 2007, here's an example. So back back to this first slide. Go ahead and copy these notes down in your notebook. Okay, so the example that we're looking at here, in the 2007 Major League Baseball season, Alex Rodriguez hit 54 home runs and was at bat 583 times. What's the ratio of home runs to the number of times he was at bat? Okay, so he has 54 home runs. Okay, so that would be 54 to 583. Okay, and we can check to see if that is in lowest terms. Okay, and to do that, remember, using our calculator, we go 54 divided by 583, and then hit math, enter, and that indeed is simply uh, in lowest terms. Okay. All right. So the next example, length of a rectangle is 8 inches wide and its width is 5 inches. What's the ratio of length to width? Okay, so we're looking at length to width. Okay, and we could write it as length to width, like that as well. Okay, either way, but I always write it like this. Length to width, the length is 8 to 5. And and so we can tell that that's in lowest terms. And we always leave it, even though it's an improper fraction, we always leave it as an improper fraction. You never convert that over into a mixed number. Right? The ratio of the measure of three angles of a triangle is 7 to 9 to 20. Find the measure of each angle of the triangle. All right? So we know that, so this would be 7 to 9 to 20. Okay, so this would be 7x plus 9x plus 20x is equal to 180. All right, so when we combine our like terms, okay, when we combine our like terms, um, we end up with 36x is equal to 180 divided by 36, and x is equal to x is equal to 20, I believe. So 180 divided by 36 is equal to 5. All right. So x is equal to 5. All right. So if we say that uh, this would be 7x and 9x and 20x, okay. So this would be 7 times 5 would be 35. This would be 45, and this would be 100. Okay. All right. So we're talking about 7 to 9 is equal to 9 to 20. Okay. All right. So anyway, uh, so this is the way you would do that if you had to do that. Okay. All right. Solve the proportion 5/8 is equal to x over 3. So we just cross multiply. So this would be 8x is equal to 5 times 3. 8x is equal to 15 divided by 8. And so when we do that, x is equal to 15 divided by 8. And we end up with 1.875. Okay? Solve the proportion 4x over 24 is equal to 56 over 112. So we end up with 4x times 112 is equal to 24 times 56. Well, if we go 4 times 112, we end up with 448x is equal to 24 times 56 is 1,344. Okay, so we're going to divide both sides by 448. Okay. 44 divided by 448 is equal to x is equal to 3. Okay. All right. In this case, we have, well, I'm going to put the 20 first. So we have 20 times 2x plus 5 is equal to 10 times 42. Okay. So distribute. 20 times 2x is 40x plus 20 times 5 is 100 is equal to 10 times 42 is 420. Okay, subtract, so subtract 100. So 40x is equal to 320 divided by 40. X should be equal to 8. 320 divided by 40 is equal to 8. Yep. All right, and one last problem. Okay. There we go. All right. According to a recent study, 7 out of every 500 Americans aged 13 to 17-year-olds are vegetarian. In a group of 350 13 to 17-year-olds, about how many would you expect to be vegetarian? Okay, so we're going to write this as a proportion. Our first ratio is 7 out of 500. Okay, is equal to, we're trying to look for how many. This is the age here, age group, and this is the total. Okay. All right. So Out of the total, we have 350 total. We're trying to find out how many 13 to 17 year olds are. Okay, so we're going to say, and you notice here that our total here, 350 is less than 500, so we would expect our x to be less than 7. All right, so we have 500x is equal to 7 times 350. Okay, so we got 350 times 7 is 2,450 divided by 500x, or divided by 500. Okay. All right, so x is equal to 4.9. Okay, so obviously it's obvious that we're not going to have a partial person, so we're going to say 4 or maybe 5 people, 13 to 17 year olds, are vegetarian. Okay, so because it's almost 5, we could say 4 or 5, but we could say something like that. Okay, so that is it for this lesson. Make sure that you copy down the notes that you had there at the beginning. Make sure you ask me questions if you don't understand something.